Hey guys, so I thought I would do something a little bit different today, and instead of actually creating art, I would look at some of my old art. So I have some stuff from elementary school and also middle school, and then also some from high school, but the elementary school there's only like a few, so like this is one. I was 9, and I'm pretty sure this was from one of those Lego magazines where you like did a drawing and you like sent it in, and if it was chosen it would be in the magazine. There's that. And there's this. I was 11 when I did this, and as you can see, it's incredible. And this is my favorite out of probably all of this old art, is this, because I feel like if there's one thing that describes my personality, it's this. So I have a caterpillar and a robin and a big versus slash across the middle. It was like the most intense like battle to the death, I guess. And then see, like, that's all of the elementary school stuff I have. I was a lot older when I did all this stuff, I think 13 and up. So, like, I did a lot of, like, anime style stuff. And even in my work now, you can kind of see the influences. Of course, I'm a lot better, or I like to think I'm a lot better now. But I don't even really draw in this type of style anymore. But I did learn a lot. Like, that's, I think, the key, is that I learned from what I did do, even though I don't think it's very good now. And this is just like a doodle page. I like did like it on the back of like a scratch piece of paper or something. And then this was my sketchbook from the same period of time, so like it's like also anime stuff. Like this was, yeah, it's like I said, like it's basically more what you learn from your drawing, right? So I know a lot of people get frustrated when they kind of want like a get good quick scheme for their art, but really the key is to just practice. Like, I've been drawing for so long, like as long as I can remember, basically. Like, my mom tells stories of how I was a child and I would cry when she would take me out of my high chair where I had been coloring. So, you know. And now this stuff is me getting into high school. So I was, I think, probably a freshman with most of these. I was either a freshman or a sophomore. I don't think there's anything in this stack from later on. I think those are in my other sketchbooks that are more recent. But so as you can see, Perry the Platypus. And something interesting is that I've noticed is not only my development as an artist, but also what I want to draw like. So something I did in high school a lot was I would start things and I would never finish them because they were time consuming and they didn't turn out the way that I wanted them to. And so when I would get tired of it, I would just be done with it. Like this, I knew that the eyes were wrong. And I knew that everything was wrong. And so I just stopped. And I think it was probably because I was trying to do a more realistic style. And since I was trying to do a more realistic style, I didn't have the confidence to finish something if I didn't think it was going to turn out. And so like that was this. And these were for a project that I did. We had to do a project for a book that we read in English class. And I decided to do a drawing. This was Huckleberry Finn, I believe. So I did a face idea study, and then I did like a little fence design, like concepts. And then this was also like the pose I wanted him to be in. I don't have the final project anymore. I think I probably gave it to a teacher and then I never got it back. But like, this is another example of not finishing something. This was going to be the Titanic, and I got this little bit done, and then I was done. This I did finish, but as you can see, the proportions are really off. It was supposed to be like a little kettle thing, but the proportions, and not only the proportions, but just the general perspective is just wrong. And I can tell that now. And I'm not going to say that I was definitely very proud of this when I did it, but I probably was more proud of it than I am now. And you know, it's very interesting because, like I said, it's not only a development of style, but also of what I want my style to be like. So when I was in high school, I really, really wanted to be able to draw realistically, because I kind of felt like that was what an artist was. But as I've gotten older and I've drawn more and I've become more experienced, I've realized that that's not even necessarily what I really want to draw like. And even then, with that being said, I can draw realistically better than I could when I was in high school. So like, this is a plant. I forget what this plant is called, but I've always really liked it because they look like little hanging hearts. And like, see, here's an example. People. I draw people way better than this now, even if I'm going for a realistic style as opposed to my more, like, I kind of look at it as like a comic book style almost, with anime influences / manga. And those influences, and honestly the realistic influences, come from my past. And this was a copy of like a root beer label, which I actually still really like, and if I did this now, I would be pretty happy with it. But like I was saying, like, that's kind of like the development of style. So your style comes from your past. So you try new things and you experiment with different things, and you figure out what you like and you figure out what you don't like, and eventually it comes together. So I have the realistic elements of my style are kind of merged with the anime manga background that I had, and it combines to make what I do now. This was me trying to draw Yoshi, and that was my dad. This was Captain Jack from Doctor Who. Yes. This I remember doing, and I remember being really proud of this. Like, I think my dad printed it on greeting cards. And I look at it now, and it's not that great. This might have actually been earlier. I have this in with my high school stuff, but this might have been earlier than that. It probably was. I don't think this was my high school work. I think my lines would have been smoother. Even though I'm pretty sure this was just Crayola marker. This is also, this got mixed in too. This was also before this. This was probably also elementary school. We had like a how to draw book, and I would just copy stuff, so like that was that. And these were those reference pictures. So this was for the Titanic that I wanted to draw, and this was for that very first portrait. And I knew that it was so wrong, and then I just didn't do it. This one. See, like, I knew everything about this was wrong, but like even the eyes, like I can see now, the eyes are more angled. They're differently shaped. These are very generic eye shape, which I even draw more angular now. The eyelashes are terrible. Like, I look at this and I can see what I did wrong. And I think that's part of improving, right? And like here, her teeth are way too defined. Here, they're not. Like, I think that they're also too big. Or too close together. Or both. But that's part of developing and part of growing, is being able to look at things and see them differently. As you practice more and as you develop more, you can see what you're doing wrong better than you used to be able to. And then this is the last thing, is this sketchbook that I had in high school. And there's a lot of unfinished stuff in here. It starts off with an unfinished picture of a phoenix, which I was really proud of, and I just never finished. This was the reference. Like, I actually was really proud of that, and it never, like, I just got tired of things. And I also, that's something else I learned with practice, is to be more patient with my artwork, because that used to be something I struggled with a lot. So there's this really weird, like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that was supposed to be. That's another unfinished little terrible sketch thing. Also really weird, a cat with a rocket the jetpack. And I think I was trying to draw the same portrait again because I really, really wanted to do it. So it might actually be fun to actually try to do this again, because obviously I did it horribly twice. So it'd be funny to see if I could do it, or how I could do it now. Maybe not realistically, maybe in my style or something, but something to think about. That's some stuff. This was for a project for school, for Rose. Captain Jack Sparrow, different Captain Jack. I was really, really, really proud of this, and I look at this now, and I can see the proportions are so bad. But what can you do? It's the past, right? It's the past. I'm not ashamed of this, because if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't be at the point where I am now. And I think that's something very, very important. And as you can see, I went back to some more like anime, manga style stuff. Just a bunch of blank pages in the middle. This was a character from one of my books, which actually, she's way different now. I'm actually planning on writing this book. I'm really, really planning on it. Like, I've been planning recently, like yesterday and even. Yeah. I was testing out pen colors. Drew some eyes that are too close together in pen. Have an unfinished face, as per usual. A really weird, like, katana, but the handle is longer than the blade. That was supposed to be Michael from Rooster Teeth, but it doesn't look at all like him, and that's also probably why I didn't finish it. That was another thing. That's the same character, actually. That's the same, same as this one, but she's so different now. Like, doesn't look like this, so I drew her a lot, and none of them look the same. And none of them are right. And then there's this, which I didn't finish. And then there's this. And that's the last thing in the sketchbook. So, it's interesting, it's fun, I think, to look back on the things you've done and see where they brought you. And so, this was actually, I actually went looking for this artwork, like all of it. I knew it was in one of the boxes underneath my bed, and I didn't know which one, but I knew that I was looking for this specifically, so I could see where I came from. So I honestly believe you shouldn't get rid of your artwork. your old artwork, no matter how embarrassed you are of it, because someday you'll realize there's nothing to be embarrassed about, because without that, you don't get to the point where you are now. So even though I look at my shield that's the size of my hand, like, or the character's hand, and I laugh, I was also very young when I did that. But even if I wasn't young, I still hadn't learned yet. But the more you do and the more you practice and the more you put into it, the better you will get. So I hope that this has been motivational for some of you, at least to some extent, because I really had a lot of fun looking back at my old stuff. So yes, I will see you guys next time. Bye.